and can contribute to the plot as a result. But she dies! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Hello and welcome to hell. Full disclosure, this was reacted to prior to the release of Candy Bug's response, which, spoiler alert, doesn't functionally change anything as to what I actually contested in it. But if you care about it, I've also added my reaction to that to the end, so it's gonna be timestamped if you want to watch it. And for the rest of you, enjoy me losing my mind to what is probably the worst Genshin Impact video that I've ever watched. Alright people, hello everybody, Tomo here. We got a reaction today to this video that has been making the rounds, and it's been signaled to me as like the worst piece of Genshin Impact content critique, any kind of video on Genshin ever. And there's been a lot of bad videos over the, how many years has it been? 5, almost 6 years of Genshin's history. Apparently this is the worst one. Was Genshin always this weird and bad? I will admit that I've seen a clip from Brianna, but overall, I don't know anything. So let's just watch it. 55 minutes. Oh, this is 55 minutes. Let's go.
Before we begin, please be aware that this video contains very heavy.
Wait, this is 55 minutes though, so like, pardon me, but we're gonna do 1.45.
Spoilers for Genshin Impact up to version 6.4.
Actually,
also known as
1.25.
The current game version as of recording. So if you clicked on this video and haven't played up through these quests yet,
so I'm gonna welcome Moon Act 8. And I haven't played Varka's story quest, but I know about it. I did play.
You are still interested in doing so, please watch
Act 8, so we're good.
Also, I would like to say that while I play Genshin frequently, I'm certainly not a lore expert. It's also worth pointing out that Genshin lore only gets more confusing and convoluted as time goes on, so that might factor in as well. I might get stuff wrong. You can feel free to correct me about anything in the.
I said I gotta come in with this like with an open mind. I've seen a clip. It was really bad, but it's like a 2-minute clip in a 55-minute video. Surely it can't be that bad, right, guys? Right.
Comments, but I will do my best. Let me just start by saying that Genshin Impact is one of my favorite games. I know that there's a lot to be said about Genshin and that Genshin fans are kind of a meme. There's a lot of valid critiques to be thrown Genshin's way. For example, like many gacha games, they use a very predatory business model, and Hoyoverse makes millions of dollars off of FOMO and by fostering people's gambling addictions.
Right.
And I would argue Genshin is actually worse than a lot of other Hoyo games too, because it's not as generous. From my understanding, other games from this company have made up for a lot of Genshin's greed by giving away more free characters.
I'm not gonna get into this debate right now. I think we should just focus on Genshin. But like, you know, me and HSR, even though I play it a lot, we don't really align on these thoughts. Topic for another day, topic that I've also talked about many times before, not the topic of discussion today.
And by making it easier to obtain materials.
But Genshin is definitely worse than HSR, we can say that.
Genshin refuses to adapt even after
in terms of
the
generosity.
The resin cap is still only at 200 with no resin overflow system. And the
why?
Still true.
True, like why doesn't it have it? Why doesn't it have it English? Oh my god.
Absolutely no purpose. But despite all of those flaws, Genshin kind of stole my heart in the beginning. I had never played a game like this before, meaning a gacha game.
I would just want to know when the beginning for her was, because like in 2020 is perfectly fair, because I mean like you had no other games to really compare Genshin to. Even though of course gacha games have existed for ages, there wasn't a gacha game of that level of production value, let's say that. Let's not say quality because that's a bit of a subjective term, but like production value.
I didn't know how the pity system worked. I did a 10 pull whenever I had fates, and I didn't save them at all because I wasn't keeping up with any upcoming banners or anything. And I would spend my Primo Gems equally on both Intertwined and Acquaint Fates because that seemed like the financially responsible thing to do. I shudder to think about it even now. But when
you should have watched the M-Tash guide on Genshin Impact. You should have watched that, man. How to 10x your damage. And he was right though. Hey, I'll always defend M-Tash. My fucking god.
Started back in October of 2020 during Klee's first ever banner. None of that mattered
2020, so yeah, absolutely
Genshin was pretty magical early on. Not only was it special because back then,
I'm a day one player for those who are new to my channel. Anyway,
you really didn't have to worry about power creep. You could pretty much build any character you wanted if you liked them. But there was this feeling of newness.
You are not beating Abyss with this team, I'm sorry. What the 2022?
Power creep. You could pretty much build any character you wanted.
I mean, your main team for Overworld can be nothing. You could just go with a fucking mannequin at this point in Overworld. I don't think you're beating Abyss with this. Let me know if I'm wrong.
If you liked them.
At least not in
this
2022.
Feeling of newness that came with starting out in 1.0. This open world was laid out before you with two beautifully designed nations. The music was, and still is, so gorgeous and immersive. Playing with headphones and just listening to the soundtrack while running around with your favorite characters was so lovely. There were little puzzles to solve and stories to tell, all backdropped by a beautiful landscape. The story told by the Archon quests was relatively simple, but the characters were...
I'm only saying this because the video is 55 minutes long and I don't want this to be a 2-hour reaction. This is a bit of a video essayist syndrome where we are doing history when we really don't need to. At least I don't think so. So I'm gonna go 1.5, see if she says anything important in this introduction.
So that they gave the quests life in their own way. And then there were events like the first Lantern Rite and the first Wind Bloom. Don't get me wrong, I think there have been some really good Lantern Rites in recent years. The one featuring Gaming comes to mind, but I really don't think the sheer innocent joy
I was not playing that patch
will ever be matched in the future. And plus I think that Genshin has kind of forgotten about Wind Bloom. But like,
true.
The cutscenes were so beautiful. Getting to see what all of these characters in Liyue and Mondstadt were up to during these times of year. I mean, that cutscene of all the characters walking around Mondstadt together spawned so much shipping, and I was absolutely there for it, just like everybody else was. Following this, we had Inazuma, Sumeru, and Fontaine. Again, all beautiful nations with so much potential for exploration. They encourage you to look in every nook and cranny. There's so much lore to be found that you might never see it all unless you peruse the Genshin wiki. One of my favorite examples of all of the records and notes you can find are about Ildodore, and they're scattered throughout Sumeru. Just discovering how immensely evil he was made me so excited to see what they would do with a villain like that in this story. And we will get to that. But even if the story occasionally got dull, and I know a lot of people struggled with Inazuma, believe me, I have problems with it too, I know I could always count on seeing a character I liked. When Inazuma was boring me to death in the middle, or when it was busy underdeveloping Raiden A, I could at least maybe see Kazuha sometimes, who is still one of my favorite characters in the game to this day. A gacha game relies on its characters like almost no other type of game does. If you want people to pull for them, they have to appeal. And most of them did. They had beautiful designs and interesting personalities that sealed the deal. So yes, Genshin is one of my favorite games. But I'm also its biggest hater, and I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, we're getting somewhere. She liked the game back in the day up until Fontaine seems. Now she doesn't. Let's go.
You're just nostalgic. That's the only reason you think it was better back then. But I have proof. I mean, why else would I make a whole video essay on an unestablished YouTube channel if I didn't have proof? So,
Will that age terribly? I feel like it will. Let's keep going though.
Genshin always this weird and bad? No, it wasn't. And let me tell you why. So, when we talk about bad Genshin, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Natlan. In case you're unfamiliar, Genshin bases its nations on real-world cultures in terms of visual inspiration.
Are we gonna do an argument about skin tones again? This better not be 50 minutes of a skin tone talk, please.
The names of the characters, and the nation's customs. Mondstadt is based largely on Germany, Liyue on China, Inazuma on Japan, and so on. Natlan, similarly to Sumeru, is based on multiple real-world cultures, including Mesoamerican societies, Polynesian cultures, and the cultures of African peoples. It's hard to pin down what they were thinking when they picked out all of these places, each so different to represent just one nation in the game. I'm certainly not the person to listen to on if this is bad representation, but I will say I do find it odd that the regions based on parts of the world where historically many black and brown people have lived are a mishmash of many different cultures, and that the characters are whitewashed versions of these people. It just gives me pause, to say the least. For many other reasons too, Natlan was understandably poorly received by fans, at least in the United States. I'm not really sure.
Of course. It was only badly received in the United States. Only badly received in the United States, or at least in the Western community, which I could go on a 50-hour rant about how much I hate as an Italian person that the Western side of the internet is so American-centric. Everybody thinks that you need to see things through like the American lens of like left and right and all these things. I think it's mentally ill at best. Let's say that. It just pisses me off. But like what the complaints about certain things, it's always only the West. If you check out the Japanese side of the game, nobody gives a fuck. If you check Chinese side, they give even less fucks. That's just how it is. And unfortunately, that side of the world, the East, dictates what these games go for because they spend more. They just do.
How other parts of the world reacted to it? It's easy to see why though, because it's the same reasons that I didn't like Natlan. The landscapes are fine, but aesthetically, a lot of Natlan doesn't mesh well with existing aesthetics of the game. And one of the major problems people had was the characters' access to modern technology and concepts like motorcycles, flying guns, rollerblades, and DJ sets. I'm not even necessarily mad at the idea of having more modern tech in Natlan. but the problems lie more in the execution. First, Natlan made a point to set up an aesthetic style for Natlanese technology, like that within the ancient Sacred Mountain area, but then they only used it in that area. If Mawika's motorcycle or Shilonen's DJ set looked anything like this, and not like sleek, modern variations of those objects, maybe they wouldn't have felt so out of place. And another problem with the tech is that
I feel like that's kind of nitpicking, because then people would complain about how about the fact that they just don't mesh with the colors. Like, let's go back. Like, let's say that Mawika's motorcycle was like this color. What color is this? Like a beige? Yeah, it's beige, basically. People would have complained that it doesn't fit her aesthetic. I feel like this is nitpicking, or at least not the way to fix the problem. It would have been a lot more fair if she went on this by the perspective of, it's kind of weird to see like the complete misalignment and like the landscaping and like the tribes and how relatively, is this offensive to say, primitive they are at first sight, and then how much access to like very modern technology they have. It would have been more interesting if perhaps Natlan was entirely modern, way more modern than the rest of Teyvat, using all these technologies from the dragons. That would have been a more fair critique. But of course, like, it was clearly not what the designers and writers were going for. It's like, again, I don't think she's on the money here at all.
Modern variations of those
but
objects,
it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy.
And another problem with the tech is that no one else in Natlan, other than the playable characters, use it at all. You don't see any other Natlanese people rollerblading or driving vehicles. They probably wouldn't feel so out of place if other people in the 6 tribes had access to this stuff. There is perhaps no location in Natlan that is so out of place as the Easy Breeze Holiday Resort. I did love the lore that this location provided for Bennett, but everything else about it is so ass, dude. It genuinely feels like a different game to walk around this resort. There's a huge slide in the shape of a Koholosaurus, a dark ride a la Disneyland, a field that looks like a fucking Wii Sports golf course.
Isn't that the whole point of a fucking resort? I can't speak on the lore because listen, full disclosure, I skipped Natlan. Why? Boring. Next question. But isn't that the whole point of a fucking resort?
Golf course and like a music festival area with a dance-off stage. I cannot stress enough how immersion breaking it is to explore this area. Have there been silly summer-themed areas in the past? Yes. But none of them have ever had an aesthetic on par with this one. I mean, the Golden Apple Archipelago just looks like it was taken straight out of Mondstadt or Liyue in terms of design, while still looking very fantastical, with impossible landscapes that could only be created by a mage of incredible power like Alice. Unfortunately, the visual aspects aren't not.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point. Alice wasn't involved in this resort, I don't think. So, like, of course it's not gonna look like that. You know what looks like a mage made it? Nicole's house. Meaning, they can still do it, it's just that it's not what they were going for, obviously.
Natlan's only faults. I and many others also found the lore and quest of this region to be pretty lacking too. We'll start with the basics. Each nation in Teyvat has a divine ideal that is represented by the Archon. So far, we've been introduced to 6 ideals of 7: freedom, contracts, eternity, wisdom, justice, and war. Most of these, at least to me, represent a good idea of what a divine ideal should be, something that a god is supposed to uphold in their nation. Sometimes upholding the ideal leads to conflict in the region. For example, in her upholding of eternity, Raiden Shogun sealed her borders and stole the ability to use elemental magic from her people, all for the sake of keeping Inazuma the same for all time. At the same time, Raiden herself represents the concept of eternity. She locks herself away to practice hundreds of years of meditation and uses undying puppets of herself to exact her will on the people of her nation. It's honestly very upsetting the way that they rushed through her arc so much, because I think she would have made for such a compelling character otherwise. Now think about Mawika in the same way, with regards to her divine ideal, which is war. How does she represent war? Well, she's fighting a war against the Abyss, like everybody else in Teyvat. Yeah, maybe they have it.
I don't know about everybody else in Teyvat. I don't know about that. For all intents and purposes, I have not seen a front line on Inazuma, at least against the Abyss. That was just a civil war. Nor in Mondstadt, nor in Fontaine, nor in Sumer. In Sumer, they just have racism. So I think war is pretty accurate.
Worse than other nations, but still, what happens when the war ends? Which it does at the end of the Archon quest. It's not like Mawika is some battle-crazed maniac. At most, she's just kind of thoughtless and reckless in her actions. Do you see how war doesn't really work as a divine ideal, and least of all with Mawika as its representative? Also, it's a nation of war made up of 6 different factions, and yet there's absolutely no conflict between them. It really just doesn't make any sense. This is why I personally always thought it would be cool if the Pyro Archon was a villain to her people. Maybe she makes them fight fight each other gladiator style for her own entertainment. And then maybe we would have a better rebellion storyline than Inazuma with an Archon that's completely irredeemable. Because we certainly know that the Cryo Archon is gonna get redeemed in some way if she's ever going to become playable. We will also touch.
I mean, obviously. Are we being serious right now? Are we being serious right now? She is. Let's not be stupid. She is. Now, of course, she's going to be redeemed. These games really are afraid of making unredeemable villains. I wouldn't be able to tell you the reason why. I guess it's because, like, it's safe. But, like, it's just a thing. Would I have preferred Mavuika to be a villain to her own people? Not really. Because that would make her the second one. I would rather not have an overlap in theming. But, yeah.
On that in a later section in more detail. Instead, in Mavuika, we have an Archon who is a Mary Sue. Ironic when she's the only Archon who is actually a human and would likely have the most flaws out of any of them. The thing is, Mavuika is very flawed. She is extremely irresponsible and brash even when it will put the lives of her entire nation at stake. Her nation is at war with the Abyss and she's like, well, best thing I can do for you guys now is go to sleep for 500 years and hope and pray that the heroes I need will appear to me when I need them. What? Let
me read that. Hold up. Let me read that. Intelligent and calculating, Mavuika came up with a plan to eradicate the Abyss invasion, threatening Natlan, driven by her desire to secure a peaceful future for her people. This ambitious plan came at a great personal cost. 500 years ago, she sacrificed her life in the sacred flame to be reborn in the present day with the sole purpose of realizing her vision. Mavuika is known for her willingness to relinquish anything dear to her, including... Why is that bad?
And hope and pray that the heroes I need will appear to me when I need them.
I don't think she hoped and prayed. I think she quite literally just made the exchange for it. I think they just made the exchange for it, no? That's what it reads to me, but I haven't played it. So, yeah.
What? That is crazy of you! And yet the game tries to make me feel bad for her for doing this. The game, instead of pointing out how terrible and risky this plan is, just focuses on the fact that Mavuika had to say goodbye to her family in order to put this plan into action. Dog, I do not care. The writing doesn't focus at all on what's important here. It just makes her out to be the perfect Archon who's good at everything and refuses to fail. There were no memorable parts of that quest for me, except for maybe the final battle. And it's not even like the characters here can make up for this nation's incredibly boring and stupid story. For me, all of them were so nothing. It boggles my mind that so many of y'all are shipping these MFs together when they barely have interesting relationships with each other at all.
We're really going against people who ship? Wasn't she talking about shipping on, like, wasn't she talking about how the fact that, like, she started shipping characters after they showed up in cutscenes together? Like, come on. Shipping is such a nothing burger to talk about, to even put in a video essay. Come on. It's just, like, people ship together characters that don't make sense all the time. We're really doing this?
I feel like all of their personalities could be explained in one word. Mulaney is bubbly, Kenichi is standoffish, Kachina is insecure, Veresa, she eats a lot. Oh, and Mavuika. What can be said that I haven't already touched on? She's good at everything. She's the perfect Archon, and even her reckless plan for saving her nation isn't questioned by anyone that matters or treated by the game as risky at all, even though it is. And in the end, she just defeats the Abyss with the power of friendship. It reminds me of that TikTok where they had the cutscene with all the heroes side by side with the clip from My Little Pony Equestria Girls. The writers go out of their way to make Mavuika seem like the coolest person ever, when in reality she has like no personality. Like, can we talk about how her trailer was just this cringe-ass music video where all of the nation heroes are playing instruments in a band? Oh my god. It's like literally unbearable to watch. And it's not like any of the other characters do anything to move.
Do I have to tap the sign again? I hate fun. No fun allowed. I hate fun. No fun allowed.
The plot forward. This region doesn't even know how to treat its lore-relevant characters as such. Auroran and Ion-san are the Natlan heroes from the Masters of the Nightwind and the Collective of Plenty, respectively, but I guess they're not important enough to be the focuses of the Tribal Chronicles. Instead, those honors are given to Citlali and Veresa, the latter of which we hadn't even met during the Natlan Archon quest. She was literally invented just to take Ion-san's place. I wonder why that is. In any case, most of the important actions are driven by Mavuika and the Traveler, so none of these characters feel important at all. They're just accessories to, again, the power of friendship storyline. But like I said, that obviously doesn't work unless these characters feel like they have meaningful relationships with each other, which they don't. Needless to say, I did not pull for any of the Natlan characters, even though their combat mechanics are in the meta right behind lunar reactions. The only one I really wanted, and only just recently got on Inefa's rerun, was the 4-star character Aoife, and that's mostly because he's a gorgeous cowboy. On the topic of Natlan...
So that's fine, right? Him being a gorgeous cowboy is fine, but Veresa being a gorgeous girl that just eats a lot isn't. I see how it is. This isn't a gosh, I'm just being dumb, but come on. Like, come on, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid.
characters being in the meta. Natlan is also when the shill started getting really bad. Soon enough, the Abyss and other endgame
Cap.
modes were tailor-made for
it was, I mean, Natlan did increase the shill, but the shill always existed.
With some bosses that are nearly impossible to beat without Natlan characters in the team. Just started a trend that only...
Are you sure about that? No. Nah. I feel like
with some bosses that are nearly impossible...
I feel like I've been this weekly boss tons of times without Natlan characters. I could probably just go in with Sandrona, like, she's in... I could probably just go in with my Sandrona right now, and she isn't even fully built.
The team just started a trend that only gets worse with time. One that leads us directly into...
Part 2, okay. Nordcry Columbina Genshin villain problem. Okay. Here, I'll be able to counter her points if I disagree with them. Because I did play Nordcry. Wow, crazy. Insane. Let's go. Let's watch. How many minutes is this part? 15 minutes?
It's hard to forget how hyped people were when the first trailer for the new area of Tevat, Nordcry, was released. Nordcry is a sub-nation of Snezhnaya, the last of the 7 nations we were supposed to visit in our search for our lost twin, so naturally the lore is getting pretty intense here. But the reaction to seeing so many lore-relevant characters in one trailer was immense. We got first glimpses of 2 members of the Hexen Circle, Alice and Nicole, the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, Varka, who we'd only heard about in passing until this point, and 2 Fatui Harbingers that hadn't appeared on screen before, Sandrone and Columbina. Every look we got was very fleeting, and it was hard to glean any info from this trailer alone, but people were still so excited. Imagine what Nordcry has in store if there's so many important characters here, ones that we've only heard whispers about prior. Well... Nordcry is better than Natlan by a long shot, but would you hate me if I said that this also disappointed me? Don't get me wrong, Nordcry in a lot of ways was kind of a positive return to form for Genshin. First of all, these characters actually feel like they know each other past teehee, we're all...
Return to form? I think it just surpasses everything Genshin, period. I don't think you guys remember how bad, like, the dialogue in Genshin for, like, up until Fontaine, like, the dialogue was so fucking bloated, and the presentation was so stale. I just don't think you guys remember. I feel like everybody has forgotten it. And since I haven't really done Natlan much, I cannot speak on whether Natlan started the trend of like improving the presentation, but Nordcry is a very clear step ahead of anything Genshin in particular. You can see like the characters were more interesting to you back in like Mondstadt, Inazuma. I will disagree. I feel like a lot of these characters are very forgettable. Even Sumeru and Fontaine, like a lot of the characters don't even appear in the main story. But I feel like Nordcry wasn't a return to form. It surpasses everything that came before it by a long shot. I just feel like people see it with rose-tinted glasses, and I say it as someone with an avatar with orange-tinted glasses.
Best buddies! Aino and Anefa are so sweet, Varka and Flins are hilarious together, and Nefer and Lauma have some of the craziest Yuri subtext since Beidou and Ningguang. These characters feel more real as a result of their relationships with each other. I could enumerate more about them based on how they interact with others. Crazy, right? It made for a more interesting quest too, one that I could
motion
more
blur.
Become invested
Turn off
in.
motion blur.
Nordcry did a lot of
animal.
stuff right. But the true problem with the region unfortunately falls on the back of one character for me. One that was so highly anticipated, not just by me, but by so many people in this fandom.
He's gonna say Columbina.
She delivered so little. Columbina. I know, there's a lot of Columbina lovers out there, but I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm one of them, but like, let's hear. Man, I remember this one Reddit post saying that Columbina's whole character arc is about being privileged. That Reddit post, Jesus Christ. Well, let's hear what she's gonna say.
There are so many reasons I cannot stand this woman, and part of it is because she's a complete disappointment. You might be familiar with the way that people thought Columbina was going to be a creepy character, maybe leaning into the biblically accurate angel aesthetic.
Yeah, okay. That's what people thought, with no real backing other than the fact that Tartaglia says that like she's the number 3 of the Harbingers, and she just gives him a weird vibe. Turns out the weird vibe is because she's a fucking goddess, not because she's a biblically accurate angel.
There was a super popular theory that Columbina was a member of the canonical angel race, so this would make sense in a way.
Yeah, no, that's Nicole, by the way.
The aesthetic for Columbina was also explored in a beautiful animation for
content warning, scenery image at body horror, blood skip to 1705. I'm not skipping.
Hoyo Fair called Stairway to Heaven by Kieru. The imagery is so spooky and it uses like analog horror elements. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it after this. Oh my god, it's amazing. And this assumption that Columbina would be scary was not for nothing.
It's an assumption. Can we understand that? Like, can we understand that? Like, people will... Okay, let me relax before I actually get heated. It's a thing that people do everywhere, especially with like fiction, but they do it with, I don't know, any product, anything that gets announced that doesn't immediately tell you everything that there is to know. People will make assumptions. People will make their own movies in their head about how things are supposed to be, and then get disappointed when the writer has something completely different in mind, instead of at least trying to see where the writer was going with it. But this is a thing that generally just annoys me. It really does. As somebody who creates things like videos and stuff, if people would made assumptions about how my next video is going to be, and then came to me complaining that I didn't do it the way that they wanted to, I would be fucking pissed. Each time I hear something like this, it drives me nuts.
People are always like, you just had an image in your head of what you wanted Columbina to be, and now you're disappointed that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And even if that is partially why people are
it's not partially, it's the whole thing. You're complaining about the fact that she wasn't a biblically accurate angel. Something you assumed with no real substantial proof. The blame is all on you.
Disappointed, there is still in-game evidence and evidence in lore-relevant YouTube videos to support what people thought about her. Let's go.
To support what people thought about her rather than what the creators actually meant her to be, right? Are you listening to yourself?
Over some, shall we? 1. Columbina's appearance. Let's go over what we knew she looked like from our first look at her, the Winter Nights Lotso trailer. First, she has black and dark pink hair, colors that do not suggest something delicate or gentle. However, these dark colors are paired with Columbina's winged headdress, made of white feathers like dove wings. Not only does this mirror her name, Columbina, which...
From Italian, column... Okay, that is correct. Yeah, that is correct.
Means little dove. It also bears the appearance of a seraph, a type of angel in Christian theology. Seraphs typically have 3 pairs of wings and have the role of singing the praises of their god. Considering Columbina was a Fatui harbinger, maybe the praises that she was singing were for the Tsaritsa. Columbina is also clearly wearing a black and pink outfit under her Fatui coat, something that they very evidently dropped in her final design. Finally, Columbina has her eyes covered, suggesting maybe an unfeeling or uncaring personality, or maybe some mysterious power that lies behind her eyes. 2. Columbina.
And that was true. That was true. She's a moon goddess. When she opens her eyes, you can see it.
His actions. In the trailer, she is singing a soft lullaby, smiling gently while laying along the coffin of her recently deceased fellow harbinger. I don't care what anyone says, that's creepy. It shows that she kind of has this detached attitude regarding death, especially of her own colleague. 3. What other characters say about her. Child's voice line about his fellow harbinger points the most to a scary character in Columbina.
The Fatui harbingers are ranked by strength, and I have no idea why that girl is number 3. I'd test my skills with every harbinger who ranks above me if I had the chance. But when it comes to her, something just doesn't feel right. Anyway, you should be careful around her.
And that is a very, very open-ended. Do we understand that? It's very open-ended. It could have been a creepy character that like was something indescribable, or as it became the case, a god.
Even Child sounded scared to challenge her to a battle, and he loves fighting with strong opponents.
Yeah, but he understands that he would probably get whooped. He can feel that.
Scaramouche also suggests staying away from her and implies that she is not as innocent as she seems.
Let me ask. What should you do if you were to encounter a damsel who is oblivious and innocent at any given time, and unconcerned and unfeeling in any given situation? If it were me, I could at least challenge her to a fight. But if it were you, with your conscience, I would stay away from her.
The way that I've seen people defend this is by saying that Child and Scaramouche are bad at reading people, and they didn't know her that well, so of course their assumption would be wrong. They just knew that she was powerful. Dude, you are not getting at the reason why these voice lines are put in the game. Yes, they are useful for showing the relationships between characters and what characters think about each other, but they should also be used to provide hints and information about characters that we haven't met yet. If you put in a voice line about Columbina not being what she seems, then people are going to listen to that and assume that she's not what she seems, and there's
because she ended up not being what she seemed. She seemed a regular old girl, and we end up knowing that she is the moon goddess of not cry. You're so close to getting it, but you're like, I don't know if it's on purpose or you're just missing it, but she's just missing it.
Nothing wrong with that. I think people just aren't willing to admit that Genshin has bad and inconsistent writing sometimes.
Oh no, I can agree with that, but like here the issue isn't really writing. It's that you set expectations and then you complain that your expectations were met. Again, as I've said before, I mean, personally, that drives me nuts. Like, that drives me nuts personally. And I think it will drive nuts any creator of anything. This is why, like, mangakas are so afraid of ending their series. It's not only because the publisher always asks them to keep going because it makes money, of course, but it's because, like, what the fuck is going to be the reception to the end? What's like a good manga that ended recently? Attack on Titan. I have seen so much bitching about the ending of Attack on Titan. While I don't think it could have been ended in any other way. And imagine how the creator feels from his point of view. This is why people are really afraid of ending their series. This is why people are really afraid of just taking risks, because like people will bitch about everything.
Fourth, her rank. Columbina was long known to be the third Harbinger. It's also been known for a long time that the closer they are to number 1 in the rankings, the more powerful they are. Columbina being number 3, especially right below Dottore, who is notably unhinged and evil, suggests that she is not only similarly powerful, but also similarly devoted to her work as part of a major villain.
I think you're just assuming that though. Didn't we say that they were ranked based solely on strength? And now you're talking about the fact that she would be more committed to her role as a harbinger. I think you're just assuming it. And again, being disappointed were your own assumptions. I just realized I'm blocking her. It's whatever, man. I
cannot stress this enough. Clearly, there is a wealth of evidence to support the theories that people had about Columbina.
There was some evidence. Was it enough? No.
I'm tired.
Can we talk about her actual like character flaws in the story that they actually wanted to present, or do we want to keep just hammering on the fact that you're disappointing about your own fantasies?
I'm tired of people pretending that it wasn't there, and I'm tired of people pretending.
We're not pretending that it wasn't there. We're just saying that you had expectations. You assume things. There was a lot of guesswork being done, and yet you treat it as facts. And that's insanity. That's insane.
That it wouldn't have worked tonally. There is literally a villain who does human experimentation. There was literally a genocide.
Yeah, but he's also like a borderline immortal that has split himself into his ages or whatever. Like, that guy was serious, man. Dottore isn't a joke.
In Conria. But no. Instead, we learn that Columbina is actually a moon goddess? Okay, sure. But also she's actually just a damsel in distress, like her name suggests. She's timid and soft-spoken and gentle, and she's shy at first, but eventually opens up to you, and you are the most special person in her life, even though you've known her for maybe...
Wrong, that's Sandrone. Wrong.
2 weeks. I cannot stand how willfully obtuse people will be about Columbina, pretending not to see the fan service that is sitting right in front of them.
Okay, let's dial it back for a second. This is not a conversation, unfortunately, since it's a video, it's a recording, but you're saying there's fan service. Okay, let's explain why the fan service is bad, yeah? Why is it bad that she is very partial to the protagonist of the story? Why is that bad?
She hides behind the traveler when she doesn't know how to talk to people. Aww. She likes to eat snacks. Aww. You get to feed her during moon prayer night while the English VA is moaning into the mic every 2 seconds. Aww. She's so weak. She can't do anything by herself and probably would have died if the traveler hadn't rescued her. Aww. People like to pretend that...
Are we just gonna pretend that she didn't like walk for like years and eons to find her moon goddesses? Like, she did a bunch of stuff. Like, no. I'm not gonna take this fucking slander that she isn't able to do anything by herself. Get the fuck out of here. But she clearly, like, what she needed was a reason. Like, she was ready to just pass on.
Anything by herself and probably would have died if the traveler hadn't rescued her. Aww. People like to pretend that it's somehow misogynistic to point this out. Again, purposefully ignoring that Hoyo is writing her this way intentionally. Guys, I kid you not, she literally turns invisible for a significant portion of the Archon quest. I promise you, that is not feminist.
I'm sorry, go back.
Visible.
And can contribute to the plot as a result. But she does! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! She literally does though! Hello? She literally does contribute to the plot in this part of the story. What? She literally leaves mess, like, the point of this, at least what was going on here, was that when she was losing her form, other than being like invisible, she also like went back in, like she was slowly going back in time, and she left a bunch of messages, a bunch of things to the past, so that her friends would actually know what the fuck is going on to a certain extent. She did contribute. Hello? Nah.
For a significant portion of the Archon quest. I promise you, that is not feminist. And it's not even like the moon goddess thing makes any sense. They even come up with some last-minute reason why she covers her eyes. There was a time when I refused to look upon the world. I believed it was full of nothing but lies and falsehoods. I wished to hide my feelings, seal my heart, until I could return to my true home. Oh my god. If this is what they originally planned to do with her, which it wasn't, then she...
Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Why is that bad? She's a very, like in concept, she's a very theatrical character. This is a very, like, theater thing, I feel like. I feel like you could see something like this in a theater play.
I wish to hide my feelings, seal my heart, until I could return to my true home. Oh my god. If this is what they originally planned to do with her, which it wasn't, then she was a goddamn waste of a Harbinger slot. It is so clear to me that she was never their original intention for the moon goddess. Her design suffers so bad as a result of Hoyo's ineptitude. I mean, look at these colors. They don't go together at all.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Do we really want to get into fucking color theory here? Oh my god, I can't speak anymore. Oh my god. How longer do we have? It's only been half of the fucking video. Oh my god. Oh my god. Colors don't go together, head ass. Oh my god.
Oh my god, she's so beautiful. No, she's not. Her design is two different designs.
Damseletter, Fatui Harbinger, Moon Goddess, mini dress. The fuck? Just purposely forgetting like this section, like the thing she got on her eye, the wings she got on her, whatever, man. Just completely forget about all that. Who cares? Who cares? We gotta make the agenda work, you know? We gotta make the agenda fucking stick. Oh my god!
Smashed together.
I'm sorry,
in fact,
I'm screaming,
these colors
but like...
only look okay together when they purposefully give the outfit more purple tones, which they could have just as easily done in the...
Do you just want the outfit to be monochrome? Is that your whole critique? That the outfit is in monochrome? That she isn't entirely purple? Like, come on, son.
Game model, but they didn't. Even her constellation is a mishmash of her Fatui aesthetic and her goddess aesthetic.
Fatui aesthetic? Where the fuck are you getting that? Where the fuck are you getting that? Oh my god. Let me pull up something. Hold up. Can you point out to me where on Sandrone's face, for example, it says that she's an Harbinger and like hair and stuff? Unless you want to go with like the clothes, but like her clothes have the same color palette as fucking Navia, don't know? Like, is Navia an Harbinger? I don't know. You guys tell me. Do you guys want to tell me what on his face says he's an Harbinger? I don't know, like, I guess the mask, but like, nah, debatable. Do you guys want to tell me? I don't know. Where does Pantalone in his design get to be a Harbinger? Is it because he's dark hair and dark clothes? Then is fucking Flint's, who has the same color palette, a Harbinger? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Of her Fatui aesthetic and her goddess.
Constellation name is Lily Dove Moon. A little. Oh my god, I can't. This video is giving me an aneurysm. A little dove beneath the moon. Give me a break. You just hate her. Listen, it's fine to say you don't like a character. You just don't like her. We get it. But like at this point, you're just grasping at straws. Somebody once told me, if you hate someone, everything they'll do, you'll hate it. She hates the character, so little dove beneath the moon. I think that's pretty cute. But she hates the character, so it's like, oh, little dove beneath the moon. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's what it is. She hates the character, so nothing that they could have done and added to this character would have mattered. You understand what I'm saying, yeah? You understand what I'm saying? This is not about the constellation. It's about the fact that she hates the character. And that's fine. Like, I mean, that's fine. I just can't agree with it. But it's really stupid. Like, this is stupid.
This aesthetic, We have both the traditional portrait shape that all the other gods in the game get, and also her symbol of the crying dove, just shoved right in at the bottom.
Just shoved right in. Like, Venti doesn't have his harp. Like, Zhongli doesn't have his spear. I don't even want to look up the other constellations because they probably bolster my point even more. But it's not just some shit that has just been put on. Like, it's clearly an important symbol to that character. Hello? Is this rage bait? Because it's great. Listen, if this is rage bait, it's a 10 out of 10 video. Best rage bait I've ever seen. Because I'm fucking fuming.
I'm fucking fuming. Or that this character, at least, was rewritten at some point because there was no indication.
I mean, that's obvious that she's been rewritten. Listen, as somebody who's like, as I've said, I'm not a writer, but I do have like a story that I want to make at some point, but don't even ask me about that. Maybe ask me in like 2 years. I don't fucking know. But as somebody who every now and then writes that, I can't go a month without rewriting pieces of that story. Our writer's vision will change so often, and Genshin was released in 2020. It was first probably started work on like at least 2 years before that. You really think that character wasn't, you really think that most characters weren't rewritten? Most characters probably didn't, most characters definitely didn't even exist in the writer's mind before. Why do you think Ian-san got a spotlight in the I don't remember what the fuck the trailer is called, but you know the trailer, and yet was a non-factor in Navlan? Because they probably got rewritten out of the fucking story. Things like that happen, especially with stories that are ongoing and they go for long enough. But that's not like a point against Columbina because she got rewritten. That's bound to happen. Just like Sandrone got absolutely rewritten to get a new fucking bot. It's just, oh my god.
They had any semblance of a plan for such a highly anticipated character. And the most frustrating part about all of this to me is that Hoyo actually leans into several of the things that people thought about Columbina, but only enough that it feels like they're teasing and laughing in the face of their fans. If we read into it too much or something.
Let's hear.
In her burst, she grows wings like an angel, and these wings bear resemblance to a Seelie court, both echoing the theory that she is an angel. But she's not an angel. In her character trailer, she performs a ballet, which calls to mind for me the very popular fan design in which she was a ballerina, something that the ribbons on her hands and feet might suggest.
The very popular fan design. I've never seen this. This is my first time seeing this, and I've been here since day one. Hey, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just tripping. But like, you know, it is what it is.
For me, the very popular fan design in which she was a ballerina, something that the ribbons on her hands and feet might suggest. And it kills me because this trailer is beautiful. The visuals and the choreography are gorgeous. The symbolism of Dottore as the pianist who's controlling the dance by playing the music. Oh my god, I love it. But it would be even better if she was a dancer or a ballerina of some kind, because she isn't. Even though that would have made a lot of sense thematically with her singing. Perhaps the strangest example of Hoyoverse leaning into the theories about Columbina is that they have the singer Aurora wearing a dress with eyes on it during the Welkin Moon concert, which suggests the biblically accurate angel thing. Maybe I'm reading too much into this last one especially, but I cannot take it. It is so frustrating because they are so close. But no, Genshin is
They are so close to what? To writing something different from what they ended up going with? To meeting your expectations, your assumptions, because expectations and assumptions are two different words, okay? Assumptions. Yeah. All right.
Allergic to having playable characters who are morally gray or irredeemable.
I can agree with that. But that's a different topic from Columbina.
This leads to what I lovingly refer to as the Genshin villain problem. Other popular gacha games, like Cookie...
Also, Dottore is fucking irredeemable. What are we talking about? I mean, it's not playable, but, you know, it is what it is.
Kingdom literally have morally reprehensible or canonically dead characters that are playable. What is stopping Genshin from making their villains stay villains, but also become playable? Columbina is just an embodiment of a bigger problem in Genshin. They do not want to have any characters who have questionable morals become playable. Most of the time, this ends up going in two ways. The first is that the character is redeemed and then becomes friends with the Traveler before becoming playable. This is what has happened to every playable Harbinger thus far. Tartaglia fights anything that moves, but he respects the Traveler even though they have different motives and values. He only ever wants a friendly spar with them. Scaramouche has no one else who understands his past and is connected with the Traveler in that way. Arlecchino is a ruthless woman who is grooming children to be a part of the Fatui, but it turns out that the House of the Hearth is a lot less sinister under her rule, so that's okay too, I guess. And Columbina...
This battle was never about fate. It's about friends, family, and the home you
This is the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
The second way.
We hate fun. We hate fun. I hate fun. I'm tapping the sign again. Can you hear me? I hate fun. We hate fun. We hate the power of friendship. Fuck Naruto, bro. Hey, fuck Naruto Uzumaki.
It goes is that the character cannot be redeemed and is therefore killed off so that they won't become playable. This is what happened to Signora way back in Inazuma, and most recently it happened to Dottore. This was honestly shocking to me, especially considering how much of a fan favorite Dottore is.
I don't know, like, she keeps talking about like fandom and fandom and fandom and fandom and fandom. Like Genshin, or like any writer writes their fucking stories based off what the fandom thinks. Oh my god, the story would be so much worse than it already is if they listen to dumbasses like you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna say it for how it is. Let me
be clear, Dottore is a horrible person, and he should not be redeemed. We should be able to understand his motives without forgiving him for what he has done. He has imposed so much pain on so many people in the game, and his morals are extremely corrupt, but he's still very, very interesting, and you can sometimes almost understand where he's coming from, while still not condoning his methods, which, I must stress, is what makes a well-written villain. People love this guy's character. But now, he can never become playable, because as of right now, he's dead. Little did you know, though, that there is a secret third option, which is what they did to Capitano, a combo of options 1 and 2. They redeemed him, and then still killed him off anyway. What a strange decision that was. Again, for a character that was extremely highly anticipated, they just threw in all this tragic backstory for him at the very end of the Natlan Archon quest, and then he fucking died right after that, so none of it mattered at all. It's like they don't understand their own visual cues. A perfect example of this to me is Escoffier. Maybe, again, this might be just me, but even she gave me creepy vibes in the silhouette teaser from the live stream.
She gave me creepy vibes. It's the vibes, guys. We play for the vibes. Jesus Lord Christ Almighty. I'm not even Christian. But I need a god or something, man. I need a god or something because this game ridiculous. Looked creepy. It is just a chef with a fucking knife. Let's keep going.
Where they revealed upcoming characters for 2025. She has this hair that sticks out, the shape of which largely resembles horns and conveys a sort of like...
Hey, you talking about this? Have you never watched an anime before? All right. This is a different art, my character, but I'm just gonna use this for teaching purposes, apparently, because we clearly have never watched anime in here. This thing is called a hahoge. Oh, fuck me. It's called a hahoge. This thing is just a thing that you see in so many fucking designs. Have you never watched an anime before? Oh my fucking god. Like, we're saying that her haoge is a horn? I feel like we're being obtuse on purpose here. I feel.
Wildness of her personality. She has a devil's pitchfork tail that's positioned up where we can clearly see it. And she's holding a sharp knife up. Like, she looked psycho to me, and I was intrigued. And at least that would have been interesting and different. But no, not only is this design ass, but it's also incredibly misleading. She's just kind of a tsundere who's very particular about her food.
She's Gordon Ramsay. She's very simple.
I don't understand why they're like this, guys. One of my favorite comments that I've seen about this that just perfectly embodies my feelings on the matter is this from the unofficial Genshin subreddit. They're allergic to morally gray, redeemable, or just bad characters because they don't know how to write anything that isn't a shitty isekai where the main character wins using the power of friendship and his harem.
I've said this in a short. It's always the people with Genshin PFPs that hate the game the most. Big shocker. If you hate the game so much, maybe stop repping it everywhere. Maybe stop spending money on it. See if it changes. Yeah, you could do that. But no. We gotta complain on Reddit 4 hours a day. But in any case, I can agree with this point, but it sounds stupid coming from somebody who just reps the game.
Harem. Oh, speaking of harem...
I had first dive into misogynistic fan service. I gotta take a sip of water because I think I'm gonna scream. I might scream because this game has this game just has blood to none tension between the MC and the female characters, especially because they stopped doing the visual novel kind of quests. Dumb ones in Mondstadt, I could agree with that. This, as of late, I don't know, man.
It's an anime gacha game. You have to expect fan service. Okay, I know that. But Genshin used to be different from other games in its genre, and I mean that genuinely. There used to be a much better ratio of female to male 5-star characters.
Here we go. Do we really need to explain this? I feel like I don't even need to really look at, like, besides like 1.x, which is different because like beginning of the game, this game was making bank no matter what they released. So like it's really not comparable. But I feel like you could probably see a trend in how much this game makes whenever they release female characters as opposed to male characters. I feel like you could see a trend if you pulled up some stats. I'm not gonna do that because I'm already losing my mind and I'm tired. I'm already tired. We're not even we're a little bit over halfway in. Thank fucking God.
Than many other gacha games, because so many gacha games are targeted at male audiences who aren't perceived as being interested in the male characters. And there were sexy character outfits, especially on the women, lots of detached sleeves, short skirts, also known as the coochie flap, thigh-high socks, or boots.
We're calling detached sleeves sexy? Man, I've said this in the same short that I was talking about people with Genshin PFPs complaining always. Genshin has a very loud side of the audience that are just Victorian age Puritans. It's insane. Detached sleeves. Oh my God. The horror. Dog. What is this? 1584?
Who aren't perceived as being
That's not the Victorian age, by the way.
And there were sexy character outfits, especially on the women. Lots of
that's Middle Ages, pretty sure.
Short skirts, also known as the coochie flap, thigh-high socks, or boots. But they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. These women are nearly naked now. And not
Hey, shout out to Llama. You can say that as a problem. I don't see it as one. I don't. And it's probably because I'm a guy. I like me some women. But also, I wouldn't mind seeing a shirtless dude in my game. I've been getting into my Marvel Rivals again. I love how that game does it. Everybody is with everything out. It's great.
And not only does
there's no real issue.
That make me mad and uncomfortable from a standpoint of being a woman who feels objectified just by looking at these designs.
Hey, listen, when Captain America in Marvel Rivals has his fucking cock flapping out, I don't feel weird about being objectified as a man. I don't.
But also from a character design standpoint, I have quite a bit to say.
Of course, like without okay, let's stop the ignorance for a little bit. Of course, it's not really the same thing between men and women. It's not. Let's not be dishonest here. Before somebody writes about it, before somebody says something about it in the comments, I'm being a bit ignorant on purpose because like she has been idiotic for like the past 40 minutes. But yeah, I don't feel like that's that big of an issue, especially Genshin. Genshin is so mild. Genshin is really mild. Also, like oh my God. Yeah, okay. I remember something else. Let's first listen again to what she said here.
Sleeves, short skirts, also known as the coochie flap, thigh-high socks or boots. But they were nowhere near as bad as they are now.
They were nowhere near as bad as they are now. Okay, let's go back into our own video. Let's see who released in Mona Magistus was released in 1.0. Lisa was in 1.0. Are we being obtuse on purpose? Ganyu was released in 1.x. Are we being obtuse on purpose? Genshin has always had somewhat suggestive outfits, and they've always been there. It's not like they've never been there. Like, why are we acting like Mona just wasn't real? Ganyu never existed. Come on, man. Yoimiya wears barely anything, if we're being honest. So does Shanha, and whatever. Like, come on. Do we really want to go there? Like, we can go there if we want to, but I think that anyone who isn't being intellectually dishonest can see it, even just from the 5 stars. It's even more apparent. It's always been this way. Maybe Lauma has been the biggest, but like Rosaria was damn near. They had to nerf her though. Why are we ignoring things on purpose? I feel like we are ignoring things on purpose. I really do.
Of the Genshin character designs, but also in the tastefulness of them. To show you what I mean, we can talk about some early...
Was Mona tasteful? Answer me this. Riddle me this, Batman. Riddle me this, Batman. That's not Joker, actually. But that's not Joker. But riddle me this, Batman. Was Mona tasteful? Was Lisa moaning on everything tasteful? No, tell me, please tell me, please do tell.
Genshin designs to compare them to more recent ones. I think it's important to discuss the physical elements of these characters first before we discuss the fan service elements of their presentation, writing, and personalities, because the physical appearance is the most obvious element, but I promise we will get to the other stuff in due time. Also keep in mind that I'm only going to be talking about female characters because most of the time, the male characters are almost always covered from chin to toe now, aka the fan service is not equal opportunity. One of the first characters I'll mention is Lisa, one of the very first anime fan servicey characters that we're introduced to in the game.
One of the first, 1.0. So you do know she existed, and yet... Okay, no. We're just gonna let her finish.
The traveler, she calls them cutie, and she's averse to doing any sort of work. Her character design communicates so much about her, though, nonetheless. Her hairstyle, which is very loose and almost looks like it's falling out on one side, shows us that lazy element of her personality. Her purple, black, and gold color palette obviously communicates her element of electro, but also a sense of...
I don't think this is about her being, lazy. I think this is just the classic anime mother hairstyle.
Importance.
And she's not a mother, but she's clearly meant to be a mommy. So like, you know.
Curiousness and magic. Her classically styled witch hat also conveys the latter, of course. Yai Miko is similar to Lisa in terms of teasing personality, although Miko can get a bit more cruel and self-indulgent with it. She has a sharper eye shape than Lisa's gentle round eyes to indicate this part of her personality. Her outfit is also a stylized version of a traditional Japanese shrine maiden outfit, giving her the required amount of gacha game sexiness while also showing her spiritual importance in Inazuma. Her design...
I mean, like, man, I don't know, man. I feel like sexiness, I feel like this is really, really mild. I feel like I can walk down the street and see somebody dressed way more promiscuously. Not like there's anything wrong with it, actually. I'm not, listen, I don't give a fuck what you wear, and that's that. And Genshin, I feel like really doesn't do that crazy. I feel like it really isn't that crazy.
Giving her the required amount of gacha game sexiness while also showing her spiritual importance in Inazuma. Her design being more complicated than the other Shrine Maidens also signifies that her role is the most important of all of them. Her hair is the color of a sakura blossom, and
well, you could say that, but I think it's just because she's playable. I think it's just because she's playable. Hey,
and she has cherry blossom motifs in her clothing, again emphasizing her Japanese inspiration, but also her connection to the sacred sakura of Inazuma, which is deeply connected with her element of electro. Xinyan is one of my favorite Liyuean character designs because it combines traditional elements of Chinese clothing styles with Xinyan's rock aesthetic, so you immediately know by looking at her what she represents. Xinyan wears lots of dark colors, spikes, and fishnet, features common in punk or alternative clothing styles. All of this is accented by red and orange, obviously representing her pyro vision, but also her passionate and fiery personality. Her hair even looks like it's glowing from the inside, which I always thought was such a cool detail. However, Xinyan also has some very subtle nods to her Liyuean culture. So while she mostly represents a counterculture in Liyue, she still maintains cohesion with the other character designs in her region. The last of the older character designs that I'm going to touch on is Navia's, probably my favorite Fontanian design personally. This design is basically a sluttier version of a traditional French aristocratic gown, but it still covers most of her body. Navia's design exudes wealth. It is full of ruffles and jewels. She has these big billowy curls. She's got this big hat decorated with feathers. She brings along a frilly parasol. She also maintains connection to her hometown of Poisson with these ship wheels on her hips, as well as the canon theming of her elemental burst. Navia is also a very cheerful character, which her yellow color palette communicates, and she also's got these cute sparkles in her eyes that show that. As you can see, these designs are not only pretty tasteful in terms of gacha character designs, but they also do their job. They communicate information about the character, even if you knew nothing about them to begin with. This is what makes a good character design, and it is ironically what many character designs in modern Genshin fail to do. Not only that, but they also get more and more boring and more insulting as time goes on. So let's take a walk through them, shall we? This ought to be fun. One of my least favorite recent characters is Citlali. Again, I know a fan favorite, but I'm sorry, I do not like her. Her design certainly isn't the most offensive of the Natlan ones. I just find her annoying. I do think her English VA is very good at their job and that they do a great job with Citlali's voice, but I really just don't like the character's writing. We will talk about that in a bit. One of the things I dislike about her design, though, is this goddamn leotard that she's wearing. This girl is literally wearing a thong. The sweater thing would go right up her butt crack. I cannot stand stuff like this. Also, side note real quick, I have to pause to talk about the state of Genshin character trailers. Can we talk about how these videos used to be actual showcases of the character's combat abilities with like little elements of story sprinkled in? Ones that strike this balance well, in my opinion, are Nahida's trailer, Farina's trailer, and Arlecchino's trailer. But now, character trailers are either, 1, headache-inducing fan edits with these wildly inappropriate aesthetic choices, like Nefer's trailer or Citlali's, or 2, music videos that make me feel like I'm going to implode from cringing.
I mean, I feel like they just realized that showing combat abilities in these trailers is kind of redundant when they literally upload a combat showcase like the day after. I feel like it's just very redundant, but I mean, that's a preference to have. I just don't agree with it.
Like Shilonen or Mawika's trailer. At most, these ones show the elemental burst animation. It doesn't tell you anything about what it's like to actually play the character in the video game that I'm supposed to be pulling.
There's the combat showcase for that though. Like, there's a thing that's called combat showcase. You want to know how the characters feels in combat? You look at the combat showcase. Put the square in the square hole. I don't think that's hard to understand.
For them in. Tell me how that's supposed to give me a good impression of these characters. Anyway, back to Citlali's outfit. It's the same thing with Mawika. Her design features a zipper that goes all the way around between her legs up to her
zipper
back.
Is crazy.
That can't be comfortable, right? Especially riding a motorcycle. And also, what exactly does this design communicate about Mawika other than being a biker? Yeah, I guess she's got sun imagery to represent her Archon hood, but to me, her hair is the only thing about her design that gives me Pyro Archon. But then, you know, all of that still goes away when she fights and her hair lights up. And then we have Veresa. I was really excited about that.
Wait, that goes away because her hair lights up? Isn't that the opposite? Like, it's literally just shows even more that she's the fire girl, the fucking pyro girl. Like, what the fuck?
Her hair lights up. And then we have Veresa. I was really excited about this design when I saw the silhouette in that same teaser we were talking about earlier. Oh my gosh, a girl that's a cow. Oh my god, that's gonna be so cute. I love these braids and the big horns. I mean, I wonder what kind of color palette she'll have. Maybe like browns and greens, something earthy because she's a farm animal. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I guess that works too. Just kidding. I hate this design. One of my least favorites in the entire game. I just like, what was the point, dude? Why is she so like kawaii themed? She's got hearts and bows everywhere. She wears leg warmers and a car.
God forbid a cowgirl decides to be a little cute. Wow. God forbid. I feel like at this point we're not even criticizing actual like incongruences in design philosophy or like designs. It's just, I don't like this. Sure, man.
Cardigan. The skirt is pointless because it's too short to cover her ass. You expect me to believe that this is a lucha libre fighter? I know that luchadoras often dress in similar silhouettes to Veresa's outfit, but they didn't incorporate any elements of the culture that Veresa is inspired by, or the one that her name comes from. There are plenty of lucha libre fighters who incorporate elements of their culture into their costumes. They could have gotten really creative with it, but it's not like it even matters because we never even get to see her fight like a luchadora in the game. It's all just the food bullshit and falling on her ass all the time. It's especially frustrating because the animators have been getting really creative with the normal attack animations lately. They could have gone crazy with her and made her do insane moves, something like this. Like I said earlier, I was interested too in Escoffier's design based on the silhouette, but I was also very disappointed with this reveal. Not only does this outfit make no sense with regards to breaking up any colors or with this weird heart theming that she has, similar to Veresa, again, I don't know why they keep doing this, but her outfit is literally just the sexy chef Halloween costume. She's wearing an apron with nothing underneath it. Not only is that insulting, but it's boring and it's lazy.
I'll just let her finish this section about designs, please.
And they would just rather put more effort into the detailing on her fucking stockings than design her a shirt. Skirk makes me mad in a similar way because they literally took an already very revealing outfit and made her more naked when she made the transition from NPC to playable character. Llama is one of the ones that makes me the saddest because I actually really love the way that she's written in the narrative. Her voice acting is so beautiful and gentle, and I find her quiet strength to be really, really compelling. It just sucks because she would be perfect if she wasn't almost naked. For Llama,
I mean, that's kind of the point now with her character, that she leads a tribe that kind of just lives in nature, lives throughout, lives through very, lives a really humble living. So her not being clothed like to the T like Arlecchino kind of makes sense.
I feel hatred like I do for Veresa because Llama has good writing to make up for her design. I just feel bad for her. Like, oh my god, you poor woman. You're probably so cold and uncomfortable all the time. Actually, she's named after a creature from Baltic folklore that's traditionally depicted as a nude woman. That is literally just another excuse to make a woman with large breasts walk around with a single piece of cloth covering her ass.
So when it's got an explanation, it's not okay, but when it's got an explanation, it's not okay, but when they don't, it's not okay either. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You can't convince me that Llama isn't meant to be sexualized by the game when she makes this face while bound by Rayrear. Finally, we have Nefer.
Of course she's meant to be sexualized. Of course she is, but like nobody's trying to convince you otherwise. It's just that it also makes sense why she is that way.
Now, I don't really hate this design necessarily. I actually really like the top of it. Her hairstyle is really cool. I love the cape and the vibrant gold and green colors, but it's just another design in this long pattern of just giving up on the legs of these female character designs. Not only does this white skirt completely blend into her insanely pale skin, but they also make no effort to give her some socks or stockings to balance out these colors or make the design more interesting. Like, I really love this fan design that not only—
Jesus, I don't know, it makes her look like a dominatrix. I don't like that. I really don't like this.
gives her a darker skirt, but also some snake pattern thigh-high socks. I really wish that they had leaned into her snake theming more as a side note.
I don't like this. Maybe it's just me. Maybe some of you will like this. I will recognize that I might be crazy here, but I don't like it. It feels like she's genuinely a dominatrix.
But alas, it's always the same. A super detailed design from the waist up and absolutely nothing except maybe a thigh garter on the legs. Again, Columbina falls into this too. She wears this super detailed tiny dress, one that's so short it makes her legs look obscenely long like a spider, and then she doesn't even wear shoes, just these fuck-ass water orb heels because they couldn't bear to let a woman walk flat on her feet. And the way that these women are drawn sometimes is so stupid too. Even the character designs that I consider to be better than these suffer from the fan service. Even though I wish her skirt was longer to add some variety to the designs, I really like Mizuki's design, but she literally shows her butt to the camera during her burst and in her official art. In fact, Hoyo only draws these characters in impossible poses more and more for the sake of making them more goonable. Literally, Mizuki is posed so you can somehow see her underboob and butt at the same time. They do the same thing with Mawika. Her back is arched so heavily just so that they can display both her cleavage and her ass. Veresa's also the same.
I mean, you can say that, but like, one thing about posing that like cosplayers will say often, or like people who just take photos, it's like the best pose you can do is a pose that looks impossible, but you gotta make it look easy. That's what looks good in photos. So yeah, that's my 2 cents of that, but like, just go back.
Her back is arched so heavily just so that they can display both her cleavage
Please
and
just
her ass.
end this
Veresa's also
fucking
the same.
part.
She's
Oh my
making a face
god.
like, oh, you caught me, and I have
What'd she say?
her ass. Veresa's also the same.
It physically hurts to do this pose IRL, by the way. Does it? Hold up. Not like you're gonna see me, but legs like this. Left leg is like this. I guess it kind of does, but again, that's my point again. The point with posing, the good poses are poses that look like you gotta make them look easy because it looks like she's doing easy, like it's easy, but then you go and do it and it hurts. Those are poses that look good. Those are the poses that look good. They might fucking foot just crack, whatever. Those are the type of poses that look good in pictures, in media and fiction, whatever. Those are the type of pictures that look good. The ones that give a certain shape, like you can see, the different, the zigzag going through her pose. Like that's the whole point. That's the whole point. It physically hurts to do this pose IRL. It's supposed to. It's supposed to. She's not supposed to be just laying around. Because that's not a cool fucking pose. It's not a cool pose. Just keep going, please.
Making that face like, oh, you caught me, and I have food all over my face. Oh no! Oh my god.
I'm still standing, by the way.
I hated saying that out loud. And see, Lali is literally squishing her chest.
And I hate
so
watching this video,
with,
but like, just keep going.
What? A stuffed animal? A pillow? That is not how this part of the body works. This is only one of the
what'd you say? I completely missed that. Hold up. I completely missed that. What'd you say?
And see, Lali is literally squishing her chest so heavily with what? A stuffed animal? A pillow? That is not how this part of the body works. This is only one of the anime fan service tropes that Genshin has increasingly leaned into over time. As the game progresses, we only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type. Oh my god. It's over, guys. We only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type. Oh my god, I can't fucking say this. As the game progresses, we only get more and more characters that fit the tsundere character type, which I personally find annoying. Lali and Sandrone are the biggest examples of this, but I would also argue that Escoffier falls into this trope sometimes. Somewhat related is the increasing number of characters who have very obvious crushes or similar devotion to the Traveler, all of whom seem to be women, ironically. Ayaka was a big one.
I wonder why. So, son, like, I wonder why. Most places don't care about representation in that way like that. They really don't. We want to act like everybody wants to do a story with same gendered couples and do this whole representation thing. Most people don't care. Most creators don't care. Especially if they're not Western. Oh shit. especially if they're not Western. I need to sit down again. Jesus Christ.
Early on, but since then we've had Mizuki blushing around the Traveler and the game purposefully putting her into situations in which we're meant to like cutely embarrass her. It's clearly meant to have a teasing romantic tone to it. Similarly, Seat Lolly has a big crush on the Traveler, made evident by being portrayed like this in her Valentine's Day art, and by all the times the game has given us very convenient plot-related ways to read each other's thoughts. Dude, this shit is painful to play. And then most recently we've had Columbina, who again has only one true friend in the Traveler, and she cutely
Wrong! You have not played the last event. Columbina refers to Sandrone as her one best friend. Jesus Christ.
hides behind you and you get to feed her. Again, these are all very romance-coded behaviors. The Traveler is
And the issue is mod check. Romance existing, and the issue is also it's not like all the characters fucking do this, by the way. It's not like it's an insane harem. Like, if we're being honest, if in the world there was somebody as important, as relevant to the entire fucking world, to the Traveler, like as the Traveler is, I would actually argue that the amount of crushes that they've been getting is kind of low. I would argue that.
Presented as her savior and dance partner in her trailer. It is a pattern at this point. Can we please let women have more interesting relationships with the main character than being their shy waifu all the time? And again,
but they're not. Most of them aren't. Most of them aren't though. Like, we're just like, okay, I feel like I can name one per whatchamacallit, per patch cycle. I can't really even name one in Monster right now. I'm just tired. Inazuma, Ayaka, and also Yoimiya to some extent in the events, but not events, sorry, and story quests. I'm fucking Monster that has all the 4 stars that and all the fucking quests that I was talking about earlier. Sumeru, I mean, is Nilo that? I guess the closest thing. Sid Lally, that's obvious. In Alan, I just skipped Fontaine. Fontaine is most probably Navia. Even then, Navia is, even though could be perceived that way, I feel like her personality is way different from these other characters that you are just shitting on. So yeah, again, I really feel like we're being obtuse on purpose a lot of the times here. Or like just having selective memory.
and this fan service is never equal opportunity. The male characters never get to have interaction.
I fucking wonder why. I fucking wonder why. Where's Hoyoverse based? MiHoYo, rather. There you go. You answered your own question. I fucking wonder why. I fucking wonder why.
Or relationships like this with the player. Why not? We also have character-specific tropes. Veresa, I'm getting to you now. She was tailor-made for the feeder fetish. I kid you not, in one of her trailers, they animate food going into her stomach, and her stomach, like, jiggles and stuff, and oh my god. It is genuinely one of the most sickening and uncomfortable things I have seen.
Not gonna lie, that's funny as fuck that she mentions that, but I feel like that's a self-report. Like, I would have never even thought about the fucking feeder fetish, but just seeing, like, this is the shit that cartoons do, man. And it's not like cartoons have always, like, are completely innocent always, but like, come on, man, that's a reach. I feel like this is a self-report. I really feel like this is a self-report. You got something to tell us? What's your name? Candy Bug. Candy, you got something to tell us? Because I feel like you do. That's a self-report. That's a self-report.
Into her stomach, and her stomach, like, jiggles and stuff, and oh my god.
Like, why are you even thinking about the fucking jiggle? I would have never thought about it.
It is genuinely one of the most sickening and uncomfortable things I have seen coming out of this company. Her entire thing is eating comically large amounts of food. She has nothing else that matters to her character, to her personality, or anything about her. It's not like this would necessarily be bad on its own, but guys, she is literally a cow. This character is extremely insulting, and I hate her. And that's not even mentioning how she literally fights by falling on her ass. When you are playing her, she will fall and her ass will be facing the camera for multiple seconds before she gets up. And your eye is naturally drawn there because of her bright pink tail against her black skirt. And then when she gets up, she'll like...
Me personally, mine is just drawn there because she's kind of fat ass, but like, maybe just me.
dust herself off and be like, owie!
Sorry, I had to go ignore her for a second.
Shut up! Ugh.
Golly!
Got Nefer,
Relax.
the whole, like, clones thing. And the clones are like her servants, and she poses with them in sexually charged ways. Like she's holding this one's face, and this one is laying in her lap. Like, I don't have to like spell out the way that this is incredibly fetishist.
I personally think that Nefer's whole character is like the closest thing to a femme fatale that we'll ever see in Genshin Impact. The perfect femme fatale in Hoyoverse is Kafka. Nefer is a close second in Genshin terms. So her being a bit suggestive rather than sexual, I don't think is out of line.
Right? I mean, Nefer literally does the stripper crawl across the table toward the camera in her trailer. She's meant to give
the stripper crawl. I'm not even gonna address that. Whatever,
no
man.
Purpose to her theming as
I guess, bro.
I think they could have taken them out of her whole thing, and it wouldn't have made a difference to her kit or to her gimmicks. They literally only did it because they knew people would drool over it. Editing Aurelia here. In the process of making this video, Linnea has been released, and I just have to interject to say, what the fuck were they thinking with this character? I feel like a crazy person because I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't think she's adorable.
Okay, I've seen this clip already. That's what I said at the beginning of the video. I saw a brand clip of this. Listen, I was tired in the morning, so maybe I misunderstood. Let's watch.
And in fact recognizes her for the creepy freak that she is. First of all, she clearly has absolutely no respect for living things that are not traditionally human. She keeps asking to touch and pet the Melusines as if they are not whole people. It's especially creepy because the Melusines are made to look like children. Having an adult character.
I'm not even gonna. No. Let's just let her finish. How about that?
Who is high-key obsessed with them and can't treat them as the people they are was a fucked up move on Hoyo's part. They literally make a point to emphasize the humanity of the Melusines and how they had to fight to be accepted in Fontanian society. And now we have a playable character who we are supposed to think is cute, harassing them and treating them as though they are pets. It's disgusting.
I mean, okay, if we want to be honest, I feel like that makes her more of a realistic character because even though, hey, black man here talking, even though slavery is over, not everybody is gonna be non-racist. Some people still look at us like we're fourth-class citizens. Hey, I feel like that makes it a little more realistic. But in any case, it really isn't that deep though. It's not that deep, at least with Linnea, for sure. But like, you know, if we want to be that deep, it makes her a bit more of a realistic character. Yeah.
Her trailer is sickening for the same reason. She fantasizes about being rubbed up on by Siegemine, who, again, looks like a child, and Kirra, along with other Melusines and Nekomata. It reads as extremely fetishistic to me, which is a problem when the people that she's fantasizing about look like children.
Fetish! Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna fake my reaction here because I've seen it. But like, listen. If you think, where is it? God damn it, let me mute the video while I go back there. If you think of this as sexual rather than just her liking cute things, like cats, like are the cats part of the fetish? Or is she into bestiality as well? Is this the point we're trying to make? No, get the fuck out. That's a self-report. If you see this and you think this is sexual, there's a problem with you. I'm so serious. There really is a problem here. With you. Not with anything going on in the screen.
Who, again, looks like a child. And Kirra, along with...
The fact that she looks like a child is probably what makes her cute to Linnea. She's a little kid. Kids are cute.
Along with other
Kids are adorable.
And Nekomata. It reads as extremely fetishistic to me, which is a problem when the people that she's fantasizing about look like children. She chases...
Notice,
which is a problem when the people that she...
Notice how she shows no interest in other creatures of the cute ones. Why is cute in brackets? Like, it's cute, yeah. She likes cute things. Hello, she's pink. She's the pink thing. She likes cute things, and she's cute herself. She also teaches to kids, no? So like, she likes cute.
Like children. She chases these people around and doesn't seem to let up after being told multiple times to back off. There are multiple promotional materials in which...
Yeah, I mean, that's anime. That's anime. Like, that's anime. Some characters have some things that might be a little problematic IRL. In anime, it's stupid and kind of cute because there are no real consequences. Like, Paimon is gonna complain about Linnea for like a second, and then we're gonna move on to the next scene like nothing happened because it's anime, it's fiction. Good God!
Melusine, which makes me think that it's happened more than once or twice. I mean, at least her character quest wasn't as bad.
I'm running out of steam
because I said I wouldn't talk about content past Luna 5. But I still don't find this character appealing or compelling at all, as I feel like I've made it very clear. She doesn't even have an interesting design to make up for it. She's literally just a copy-paste of Charlotte.
I want to say something, but the haters will sabotage me. YouTube monetization. YouTube will sabotage me if I say what I want to say.
Even the wish art is the same. I haven't felt such a burning...
Huh?
up for it. She's literally just a copy-paste of Charlotte. Even the wish art
That's rage bait. That's rage bait. That's bait. That's bait.
is the same.
That's bait.
I haven't felt such a burning hatred for a character in a long time. Hoyoverse had the opportunity to portray Linnea as a character with a disability that made it difficult for her to fit in, because that was largely the reason the myth of changelings arose in the first place. The fairies were thought to swap their fae children for a human child, which was how several mythologies explained neurodivergence in children. Instead of portraying a really heartwarming—
Oh my god, she wanted her to be a fucking diversity character. I don't want to say like, listen, I'm not like one of those gamers that call everything DEI. I'm not that idiotic. But like, no, not every character needs to tell your story. That's what I'm just want to say. Not every character needs to be relatable to you. And a lot of times, characters that don't really have anything to do with you can be relatable. Goku. I love Goku. People see themselves as Goku all the time. Like generations of children and adult men. Wolves see themselves in Goku's shoes and say, that is literally me. Ain't got shit to do with me. Ah, man, it's just I don't know, man. Like the more I go on in this video, thank God we don't have much left. The more I keep going, it feels like you are just either missing the point on purpose, hating for the sake of hating, which, I mean, sure, fine, or being obtuse on purpose. But anyway, let's keep going.
story about a character who's autism coded, we instead get a freak who can't stop harassing anyone with non-human—
Not everybody needs to be fucking autistic. Nothing wrong with it. Hey, listen, nothing wrong with being autistic, but not every character needs to be that, or any character for that matter needs to be that in any story. That's the discretion of the creators.
Ironic.
If you want Linnea to be autistic, I mean, you can write Linnea because she's copyrighted, but you can write your own story, yeah?
How they want to portray her as an outcast who had no friends because she was a fae who looked different. Also, can we talk about how her lore makes no sense because the Saritsa and the Fatui are meant to be hunting down fae and eradicating them, hence why Flynn's hides his identity. But it's just completely fine that Linnea is outwardly a fae, perhaps even more obviously so than Flynn's because she doesn't cover the wings on her head or her crystal markings. Whatever. I really hope people open their eyes to how terrible this character is. Sorry if you feel kinship with her. She is not cute. She is—
What the fuck is a kinship? But anyway.
Not funny, she has no appealing character traits, and there are far better characters out there whose stories are about yearning for acceptance.
Again, tapping the sign again. We hate fun. We hate fun. We hate fun over here. It's fine. Okay, listen. No fun allowed.
Anyway, back to the video. Before we move on to the last part, I feel the need to debunk something I've heard both in this fandom and in other fandoms with regards to sexualized character designs. She should be able to wear whatever she wants. It's feminist to let women express themselves how they want. Listen, I choose to believe that this argument isn't made in bad faith. It's more like people who say this have good intentions, but they don't understand what it is they're actually saying. Yes, it's true that women in real life should be able to choose what they wear. If they want to wear revealing clothing, that is completely their choice. However, these women are not real and do not have the autonomy that we do. They are purposefully manufactured to be bait for the male gaze. They are animated—
I mean, if they're not real, then there's no substantial problem, no?
Made in revealing outfits and drawn in uncomfortable poses and written into compromising—
drawn in uncomfortable poses again. Posing is supposed to be uncomfortable.
Situations on purpose. These developers have control over how these women are portrayed, and they choose to portray them increasingly as vessels for hypersexualization, fetishization, and fan service. That is not feminist. That's not to say that Hoyoverse doesn't do this in their other games. Zenless Zone Zero comes to mind, but to me, at least, that game is honest about what it is, and it has been since the beginning. Boob physics and maid outfits and schoolgirl uniforms and all. At least over there, the fan service is a little more equally spread across the male and female characters. Genshin Impact still pretends that it's this grand world of exploration it was 4 years ago, while its writing and characters suffer. Expect visual upgrades.
Genshin hasn't changed. I feel like you really are, again, rose-tinted glasses, even though I have my orange ones. Genshin has been a great world of exploration, but the characters also have always been on the sexual side, to some extent. Very mild. I'll keep saying very mild. Of course, as a woman, you'll see it differently, and I can't argue with that. Like, listen, I've had plenty of conversation with my homegirls about these things. As a guy, I will honestly never be able to see it the same way, and that's fine. Men and women aren't the same, and that's absolutely fine. But there's a lot of points here where it's just like, you're obviously missing it on purpose, or like just, I don't know, have a fucking 10% accuracy ratio because like you're just missing everything.
It's like you've never seen before, all while we refuse to visually upgrade older characters because who gives a shit about them, right? Or as we increase the...
I mean, yeah, they don't make any money. Old characters don't make any money. I mean, don't make much money, let's say that. They don't, like, listen, why do you think all these fucking characters get reran at the same time? It's because they aren't good enough or like important enough to warrant people's attention 4 to 5 years later. So they get all reran together.
Shill for pay-to-win players, or for Millie Astro Wonderland, which no one fucking asked for and no one cares about, and for hyper-specific gameplay mechanics that are incredibly team-limiting and rely on 2 or 3 limited characters to actually function, all while we continually offer less and less new map areas and free wishes each patch. I could go on forever about the state of this fucking game and how...
Less and less. Genshin has never been good with pull amounts. Again, rose tinted glasses, rose tinted glasses. I feel like you're not looking at the past objectively. You're not.
I think that's enough of that for now. Let's move on.
Oh, she just kept talking. Oh my god.
After all this complaining...
So why do I still play Genshin? Oh, yo, this is quite literally like the epitome of that fucking short that I made. People will play Genshin so fucking much and will hate it, will hate its guts. Please stop playing. Not because it will make the fandom better or anything like it, but because if what you're complaining about was the actual majority and you guys stopped playing, you would see change in the game. You would. But for one, you're not the majority. And for second, you're not quitting the game. So what you're signaling to these two Hoyoverse is that the game is fine as is because you keep eating it up. Because you keep eating the so-called slop. Yes, I'm a consumer. Yes, I will consume your product, even though I fucking hate it. It's just so insane. It's just so insane to me.
Sounds like this game is causing you lots of undue stress. Maybe you should just quit and play something else.
Yes.
Look, maybe you don't get what it feels like to invest 5 years of your life into a game like this.
I do. I played Dokkan for 10 years. Shut up.
With ever-expanding lore and new characters being introduced all the time. I guess maybe I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the time, back in 1.0 when I first started out.
So, okay, is she just going to make a sunk cost fallacy argument? Is this what we're going to do? You have a problem. The game is not going to go anywhere. The game is not going to run away from you if you stop playing for a month. I stopped playing for a year. More like a year on perpetuity, and before that, like, I don't know, 6 months on and off. But like, I stopped playing for a long time, and then I came back and started enjoying it again. The game didn't go anywhere. The fact that I stopped playing for so long made the game, like, made the return feel better because I found that things that I used to care about, I only did care about because I played this game so fucking much. Listen, I played from day one. I was playing like every day for like a year straight. I know what's like to be really, in Italian we say like infognato, like really too fucking deep into the trenches with these games. But if I can do it, if I can fucking quit and come back and still enjoy the game after I come back, so can you. And so can everybody that is complaining about all these things and the state of the game. Listen, there's a lot to be criticized, and I will criticize it all the time, but I don't think it makes the game shit. If the game was shit to me, I would not be playing. That's what I did before I came back. It's that simple.
Invest so much of your time into a game only for it to let you down. I'm not gonna
quit. You have a problem. It's not a listen. You have a problem. That's a your problem. It's hard. Who fucking who? What do you want me to say, man? I'm just getting mad.
I pretend that Genshin was perfect back then. There are so many weird, like, cop-outs that Hoyo pulls so that they can have sensitive themes in their games, but not actually have them. Like Bennett saying that he has multiple dads only for...
It's called being a Chinese game. It's called being a Chinese game. It's called being a Chinese game. Especially the biggest one that is in the crosshairs of censorship at every moment. I feel like now, I don't know what's the situation in China, but like I feel like what I've seen from Genshin now, I feel like they've let up a lot on the censorship, because like back in the day, you would just get shit all the time. Now, it feels like they can do their own thing to a certain extent.
You to realize that it's because he's been raised by many older men in the Adventurers Guild, not because he has queer parents. But the problems have only gotten worse with time. There are even more cop-outs, like Flynn's being a victim of suicidal ideation, but like, he actually just went sleepy for a really long time. Or like Nicole, who is mute in name only. She just talks in people's heads using her magic so Hoyo can pretend that they have a character with a disability. Or like...
I don't think that's... It was never... These people, oh my god. It was never meant to be a representation of disability. this ability. This ability to get bitches. This ability, it was never meant to be that. It was clearly not. Man, it's like a lot of these people see things where like it's close enough so we're gonna think that they wanted it to be that way, and then we complain that it actually wasn't that way. Again, making assumptions and complaining about them. Fucking hell, man.
Never experiencing racism.
End this video, please.
While having the palest skin you could possibly imagine. Regarding gameplay, as I said, the shill for current characters has only gotten worse with time, with boss enemies made specifically to be defeated by certain limited characters. Fontaine was the first region to introduce region-specific battle mechanics, Bond of Life and Pneumocia, but it wasn't so completely baked into the combat like Night Soul or Lunar Reactions are. You didn't need Bond of Life or Pneumocia to be anything in the game, but the Lord of Eroded Primal Fire weekly boss requires a character who can apply Night Soul damage. The game before the gate is built for quick application of the Frozen reaction, which is the specialty of Skirk and Escoffier. It's unfair to people who aren't looking to pull every single character, like me, because I only pull characters I like, or free-to-play people who aren't looking to spend what could easily be hundreds of dollars on filling out their 5-star roster, also like me. Because I don't have that kind of disposable income. Seeing Flynn's in that Nodcry teaser was a lifesaver for me. Holy shit, a beautiful 5-star man with a mysterious backstory who's actually part of the meta, and oh my god, Lowen too. That face card is diabolical. It's been so long since I've been excited about characters like this. Most of the time now, I'm just like, well, Nicole's not my favorite, but I guess I'll pull for her in the future if I have no other characters I want. Or, well, Lama's design is pretty terrible, but I like her personality a lot. I guess I could get her if I have enough extra primo gems. So yeah, that's a lot of flaws. But guess what, guys? Hoyoverse fucking got me. Almost 6 years ago now, Hoyoverse wormed its way into my brain and put my mind in a Genshin Impact-shaped chokehold. At this point, I have so many mixed emotions about this game and its fanbase. I
really think that genuinely for your own mental health, and I say this, I say it. Listen, I've been quite heated and sometimes like ignorant in this video, just being stupid. You know how it is. But like from my heart of hearts, just genuinely and truthfully, quit the game. Stop playing it. If it's making you feel this way, a game is like stop playing it. A game is supposed to be fun. A game is supposed to be fun. When it's not fun anymore, you don't have to play it. You're not getting paid to play it. You're not going to lose your livelihood if you stop playing it. You're not going to run into issues if you stop playing it. Matter of fact, you're probably going to free up a lot of time to do things that matter more to you. And that's why I never tell people to play a game every day. Even for gacha games, I tell you guys, play it when it's fun and be done with it once it isn't. That's what I do. I don't play a lot of these gacha games every day. Sometimes I do because I want to get my characters done, and that's because it's fun. I want my characters to be ready and good. But when there isn't something to do, when an event is too boring, not worth it, you should just stop. You really should just stop. Like, again, I am really saying just do it, but it really is that easy.
The beautiful fan art I see every day. I love the sense of humor that so many of these fans have. I love some of these.
We are really saying that the Genshin fanbase is funny? Okay, we lost our minds here. No, this fandom is a fucking prison, and I hate using the word fan. God damn it, I hate using the word. You know what? I hate so many things. I hate a lot of things. Let's keep going.
So much, and thinking about them is so much fun. But sometimes I feel like the only sane person in any given comment section on the internet. Like
I'm not a lore expert. We can tell. I just wanted to read one comment, see what they thought. See what they thought. Wait, she wrote something? I'm not reading all that. Not reading all that.
I'm the only person who sees this game for what it has become. People just refuse to be critical of this game despite enjoying it and knowing what it could be.
Holy potential merchant. I mean, I was the same way all the way back in Sumeru. Again, you can watch my video on how I came back to Genshin. Oh, if you hear a little bit of noise, I'm cleaning up my glasses. They're kind of dirty. But I did make my video on why I remember. I left Genshin and then came back. Again, a lot of things I didn't like. I quit. I used my time playing games that were more fun or doing other things.
It's a fandom and a community that I sometimes feel like I don't belong to. Like I should have left it a long time ago.
No, I feel like you belong. I mean, to a certain side of it. To a certain side of it.
I can't stop playing it. Maybe it's an addiction, or maybe it's FOMO thinking about the upcoming characters I want to get in the future. Maybe I find the gameplay engaging. But ultimately, I think for me, it comes down to wanting to see where the story ends up, even though it continues to disappoint me the more the time goes on. I think Genshin set up a very strong emotional core with the missing sibling, and they strung us along just enough that I was invested, giving us hints of the sibling only a little at a time, all culminating.
But you know you don't have to play it every day or at all to experience that. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to go and just watch videos. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But also, you could probably just quit until there's more of this, no? We don't have our conquest every patch, at least not during this section of the year. You could quit until September. You could take a chill pill. You could stop. You really could.
In a quest called Bedtime Story a couple years ago, which is one of the only Genshin quests that's ever made me cry. I want to see the traveler reunited with their twin at the end of this journey. I want to explore Snezhnaya and Conria. Even though Alice's design ended up being a little copy-paste, I adore her and I want to pull her and put her in a team with Klee and Durin. I want to see Dainsleif become playable and hopefully introduce a new element into the gameplay. Who knows? Maybe Genshin will continue to disappoint me. Maybe there are no good villains left to me. And maybe a playable woman in a freezing cold climate will be wearing a bikini. I'm still gonna be pissed about that. But it's quests like Durin's story quest, A Beautiful Tale of the Devotion of Motherhood, and learning to make your own way in life that give me very cautious optimism. I know that Hoyo is capable of amazing storytelling. That's what makes it so frustrating every time this game lets me down. But Hoyo, you've still got me for a while. Nice going, you made me addicted to your game, but the goods...
Also, Hoyo versus, at least, is not great at storytelling, no. Not in Genshin, no. No matter what you say, Genshin is not good at storytelling. Not storytelling. It's good at lore. It has some flashes, but they're really flashes in the pan. But that's another conversation for another day. Genshin is not great in storytelling. No, it's not.
Is what makes me want to stick around for a while, even if it's only to watch my
for 90% of the game.
Run around in my screen.
Anyway, this video was terrible. Jesus Christ! Oh, I fucking clicked on something. Oh, whoa! Relax. Where are we? No, we're not watching FNES stream. Whoa! Relax.
Before we begin, please be aware.
Yeah, this video. Man.
Hi. So this is going to be a sort of addendum to my Genshin video. I'm going to do very minimal editing here because I want to get this out relatively quickly. It's already taken long enough. The thing I got the most backlash for by far was my thoughts on Linnea. I definitely want to apologize for the harsh tone I took when talking about her. I wrote that section in an angry state of mind and I should have edited it to be a bit more objective. I understand that a lot of people think I'm ableist now because of the way that I spoke about a character that people feel is autism coded. Yes, I know that people on the autism spectrum may have a difficult time picking up on social cues or personal space, and that Linnea struggles with both of these. Yes, I know about special interests and that Linnea's has to do with wildlife. I never meant to...
Listen, I've not seen much of what people were saying about this section in particular, other than like criticizing how she implied pedophilic undertones, but I feel like people wouldn't really mad that she was being ableist towards Linnea. It's more like you want to force this character to be autistic. At least that's what I found kind of weird. But I don't know what the people on Twitter are saying or whatever, so.
To diminish people with autism, and if I hurt you with my words, I'm so sorry for that. I just want to put my thoughts into a little bit more context. First off, I went to school to become a teacher. I have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, so I'm familiar with different disabilities and what those look like for students. I knew all of this when I wrote the video. Though I'm not currently a teacher, I work with students at different ability levels regularly at my job. Linnea frustrates me as a representation of the autism spectrum because her portrayal aligns a lot with portrayals of creep or pervert characters in anime. The thing that...
I mean, again, I think you're getting mad. It's something that you assumed. I don't think the writers were explicitly thinking that this would be a character that's supposed to be autistic. I feel like she still doesn't quite get that.
Bothers me especially is the grabby hands that she does in the trailer, which is why I put her on screen with this character from Ace Attorney, who is explicitly supposed to be creepy. That's something specifically I would want to see changed, because to me, it felt ableist to portray her with these predatory mannerisms.
But I don't think she's supposed to be autistic. She's just supposed to be a weird person.
When they could have just had her be fascinated with the Melusines without doing stuff like that. This comes down to agency. Like I said in the video, Linnea has no control over how she's represented because she's not real. I've literally had college professors hammer into my head that characters are products and reflections of their authors, and that they are not autonomous and should not be discussed as such. It's instead a reflection on Hoyo that they decided to portray her that way. Everything else about her, I guess I could take or leave. So that is what I should have said about Linnea.
I mean, the issue with this is that you're blaming Hoyo for writing what you think is an autistic character in a weird way, but nowhere it really says that they are autistic. They're just an anime character with weird things that they do. I don't think that was meant to be a representation of somebody who is possibly autistic. Maybe some of her behaviors are autism coded. Does this mean that it's what Hoyo wanted you to take out of the character once you met her? I don't really think so. To me, Linnea just reads as a character that really loves cute things and can be a little intense about them. Of course, in the anime way, which a little intense means being a little grabby as well. Like, I would not put the autism label on a character like that. I just would not. I find issue with putting certain labels on characters when they are not like either explicit or obvious. Like Trigger in ZZ. She's blind. That's representation of a blind character. Absolutely. Yuzuha isn't deaf. She just has those weird earphones. Nicole is mute, but it's not really portrayed as a being some sort of disability she's had to live with. Like even if she is mute, I don't think that the point of her character having that thing was to put representation of a disabled character, a mute character in this case. I feel like we're really reaching. And again, I feel like I've said this in the previous hour of reaction. Not every story needs to tell your story. Not every character needs to be relatable to a T. And I just simply don't think Hoyo has ever been trying to do that for the most part. At least now in Genshin, I don't think so.
Again, I'm so sorry if my comments about her hurt anyone. I should have spoken with more tact and not used the harsh words that I did. Similarly, I have gotten lots of accusations of racism because of what I said about Natlan, specifically about thinking a gladiator plotline would have worked better than the canon plot. I think ultimately for me, this comes down to war not working as a divine ideal in concept.
I did not get that one.
Said in the video, because gladiators was the first thing that came to mind as a way that an Archon could uphold war, just as the other Archons uphold their ideals. This idea had nothing to do with the race or culture of the characters from Natlan, but I can see how it might have come off that way. And again, I'm sorry for that.
I don't see it. That's Twitter user talk. I'm not gonna lie. That's Twitter user talk. I can't understand this.
A lot of the Natlan stuff and also the stuff I said about Nefer must be viewed in a historical context. Like at the end of the last video, I made kind of an offhand comment about how Nefer's plot about receiving discriminatory treatment by the academia kind of falls flat for me, and I realized after seeing a bunch of comments about that too that I should have explained myself more. I wasn't intending to imply that people with pale skin don't experience racism. That's of course something that happens a lot, but Nefer comes from an area in the game where mostly people with tanner skin live, and I know that it's implied that she's not actually from there, but I think the point still stands. In Nefer's story, she gets a chance to study at the academia, but she quickly notices that the assignments that she's been given are easier than her peers. It's obvious from the context clues here that the school sees her as less intelligent because of where she's from. This is based in real life, of course. People of minoritized races, especially black and brown people, have been historically perceived as less intelligent than fair-skinned people. There are countless examples of these groups having their intelligence and humanity undermined through incredibly racist propaganda. It's the fact that they chose Nefer as the character to experience this story out of all the people who live in the desert who have darker skin is what makes it fall flat for me.
I guess, but it also comes down to, there's a lot of places in the world where even in places that are very much homogenous in race, that simply the location of which you come from can be a point to discriminate against. I'm black, but I'm born and raised in Italy, and Italy has an history with this. People from the south migrated towards the north in the in the 1900s, in the 1900s to work in the new industry post Second World War, and they would get discriminated against constantly. I think this shows that discrimination, I think that as a character, like, you can say that it should have been about racism, but I guess it's not really about racism, it's just about discrimination in general with Nefer. She's getting discriminated against because she's from, at least raised in, the other side of the wall, whatever, in the desert. I don't think that makes her fall flat. I think you're just hoping that the story will tell something different. You're making assumptions about what the writers wanted to go for and getting upset that they don't fit them.
I don't want the characters I like to experience racism in the game, but if Hoyo is going to try and tackle these themes, I want it to be respectful to the painful history that those themes are inspired by.
Discrimination exists everywhere you go. The entire world is the fucking same. You go to a different country, you'll see the same problems just with a different skin or skin tone. While this wasn't about racism specifically, it was about discrimination, and it still works.
Even though I'm explaining myself a little more clearly, maybe I'm still wrong. I just wanted to touch on that to make my thoughts more obvious, which I should have done in the original video. I also want to address my discussion of the fan service in the game. No, I do not hate revealing designs in principle, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not attracted to women. There are plenty of revealing designs that I think are really beautiful.
So Mona is tasteful? Get the fuck out of here. Please.
Full and well done. And I myself enjoy dressing in cute little outfits, as you can see by
I wouldn't call this revealing though.
the Sona design that I made that everyone hated. Again, it's partly about agency. Like I said earlier, I can choose to represent myself how I want, and this design is actually pretty close to how I dress in real life. But I have also had people coming after me for not taking fan service into account when it comes to the male characters because I didn't mention Lowen. First off, I wrote that video before all of that content came out. I basically only knew what he looked like, and I met him in Varko's quest when I wrote the script, and he had like 3 lines in that quest. The video took a long time to edit, so I couldn't keep up with all of the current content, but I also think it's important to give some more attention to the fan servicey elements of the male characters. Lowen enjoys combat and makes these crazy facial expressions when he fights. A lot of Flynn's dialogue could be interpreted as flirtatious, and even if it's not, his gentlemanly personality is fan servicey too. Linny wears garters and tights and stuff, and he also gives the Traveler a rainbow rose. Goro is a dog boy with a crop top. You can see how it's usually something different with each character, but with the women I feel like it's always the same and very surface level. She has bare legs, therefore she's fan service. She's a tsundere, therefore she's fan service. I don't mind if a character is fan servicey.
I mean, again, maybe I don't get it because I'm a guy, but I feel like bare legs barely counts as fan service. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I might be wrong on this. Like, I'm not gonna die on this hill.
In principle, I actually said in the video that I wished Escoffier was more like Lowen in terms of presentation because I thought that would have been more interesting, but it gets boring to see it happen to every new character that they release. It seems like they're more concerned lately with finding not so subtle ways to show more and more skin rather than what would look most interesting or best communicate who the character is. Or instead, they do what they did to Seat Lally recently and just reduce her to a childish simp who gets jealous when the Traveler hangs out with other people. If that's your thing, that's completely fine. We don't have to agree on this. I just find it frustrating knowing that Hoyo can write very interesting characters but decides that writing stuff like this is more important. I didn't think it was misogynistic to point out that
I mean, but like talking about the fact that like they don't do different things, and then Citlali is like the only character who is at that level in terms of tsundere behavior. She really is the only one, and that isn't okay. I don't know, man. You can't just not like them, and you don't have to pretend like there's plenty of logical reasons. You just don't like it. It's fine. I think I would just respect her more if she said so.
Men, quite the opposite, actually. But again, maybe I'm the one who's in the wrong. And no, just because I think a villain is interesting does not mean I defend or condone their actions. Dottore is an interesting villain with interesting motives, but I obviously do not think that anything he did was right. Dottore isn't even one of my favorite characters or anything. There's actually quite a bit I don't like about the way he's written, but people have always liked villains in other media, so I'm a little confused about where that particular criticism is coming from. But I think that's everything I wanted to say regarding the previous video. I also have not been deleting comments as I've been accused by several people. I know you kind of just have to take my word for it, but there are over 7,000 comments on that video now, and a very large amount of them are negative. And that's aside from all the Twitter hate that I'm not looking at because I haven't been on Twitter in years. And just a side note, it's been brought to my attention that someone on Twitter is pretending to be me. I genuinely cannot believe it's that serious. So if you see anybody called Candybug on Twitter or TikTok or anywhere else except for Instagram or YouTube, that is not me.
Crazy.
I haven't even really been reading comments recently because it's so overwhelming. I promise you, I do not have time to go deleting comments that disagree with me. If your comment disappeared, it could be for one of the reasons that I'm going to put on screen now.
Yeah, I mean, like comments don't actually disappear, but they might get automated. Can't do anything about that in a lot of cases.
So thank you in advance for giving me grace with this video. I have other ideas for more lighthearted.
Other videos I would maybe like to make analysis of the Big Time Rush TV show. Yes. Okay, listen. If you release that video and that video is good, all water is under the bridge for me. All water is under the bridge. I love Big Time Rush. Hey.
Non-Genshin videos, as I will probably take a break from the game. After all that's happened,
she said she will take a break from the game? Thank fucking God. I don't understand how she ended the video on that stupid ass sunk cost fallacy justification. How do you not rewatch that and think people are gonna eat me alive for this? Like, genuinely, just quit for a month. It's not gonna kill you.
I feel like I can't even look at this game the same way anymore. This fandom is so incredibly toxic, and I guess I was stupid to think that they wouldn't jump down my throat at every turn. I'm also confused because some of you seem to think this is like a psyop. Like, I'm putting this video
felt like ChatGPT. I want attention, generating me a Genshin 8 video before it. Oh, that's great slander. I heard the theory the account is a paid industry plant.
Out for a reason or getting paid to do it, instead of it being a video that's not very good because it's my first one where I wanted to talk about my feelings about a game I liked. Or
Occam's razor is a principle from philosophy. Suppose an event has two possible explanations. Occam's razor says that the explanation with the fewest assumption is usually correct. Another way of saying it is that the more assumptions you have to make, the more unlikely an explanation is. Occam's razor applies especially in the philosophy of science. Okay, I got you. But you know what? No, I'm not gonna say it.
I wanted to get it out before Snezhnaya so that my points wouldn't lose relevance.
The previous video was full of assumptions.
This game comes out with updates faster than I can keep up with, or because I made it about a popular topic so people get recommended it easier. And not everything is some kind of conspiracy. You can feel free to say how much you think I'm a waste of space or whatever. I'm probably not going to read it, to be honest. I've gotten enough DMs already.
Ooh, Instagram DMs. These are Instagram DMs, yeah? Jesus. Don't do that, guys. It's so weird.
Threatening me with violence or doxing or telling me to kill myself. Hence why if you have tried to message me in the last few days, you haven't been able to. I just wanted to take a moment to clarify some of the stuff in the video that drew the most negative attention and that I wish I did better on looking back. That video was rushed because, like I said, I wanted to get it out before Snezhnaya, but it took me so long to write and edit it that it probably wasn't even worth it in the end. But either way, I shouldn't have rushed through it, so I'm sorry for that again. I don't know if it will help to make this, but I guess the least I can do is try and amend some things. Thank you again.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like a lot of what she addressed was just Twitter user talking points, which, I mean, sure, you can do that, but like a lot of the things that were bad about those videos, she still kind of stands by, and it is what it is. She made a comment. Yes, she has. Okay. I don't think this will stop the negative comments or messages or anything, but I wanted to make sure that I clarified some stuff that I should have explained better or more tactfully, that's all. I was under the impression that slut was a reclaimed... What the Yo! Kinship reclaimed term, fucking... Bro, can we stop making up shit? Please, what the fuck does this mean? I wasn't even using it negative against Navia. It's supposed to be lighthearted, especially because of how much I praised her design. I'm sorry if I'm off base on my tone. What does this mean, man? That's whatever. In one world is calling a woman a slut anything other than massage. I don't think this did anything. Especially because, like, this is a 9-minute video. The original video was how long? 55 minutes? 55. And a lot of it was dumb, very dumb. Anyway, that's all from me. On this candy bug saga. Like, comment, and subscribe if you think this video was stupid. Okay, bye. Peace out. Mwah.